The 35th running of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon this Sunday. While most of the 45,000 runners are experienced and have spent months training, like Sylvia, for the big race, there are plenty of others who are racing for the very first time. And if they do not take the right precautions before, during, and after the race, they could cause some serious damage to their bodies.
Just, you know, I have no urge to run a marathon. I admire those who do. Now, Dr. Jeff Mjaanes has served as a volunteer physician with the race, and he's here with some suggestions for every runner, novice or expert, you name it. It's going to help everybody, right?
I hope so.
This is a big weekend. The weather, everybody's saying, is going to be perfect, but there are some things you need to do to prepare. And we're going to start with hydration, huh?
Yeah, hydration, you know, is one of the most important issues for a runner, obviously. Sure. So, you know, a lot of people think water, you know, and water is definitely important, but you can't go with just water. If you actually just drink water, your salt level in your blood can drop. And for a runner, especially in an endurance event, salt is very important. Okay. So you kind of need to mix it up. In fact, most of your liquid should probably come from a sports drink because that has electrolytes in it, like the sodium and the potassium. There are some other ways to get those in as well, salty foods. And then a lot of companies have come out now with energy chews. These have, you know, carbohydrates, so they have some of the sugar in it that you need, and then some of the salt or potassium as well. Okay. So very important to kind of get a mixture.
Okay. What about what foods you should eat?
So nutrition, obviously another big key issue. You know, I kind of put some things out on the table here because the day before the race, you don't want to load up on a meal that's high in fat or anything. You want a nice, healthy, solid meal. So some sources of complex carbohydrates, pasta is great. Sweet potatoes are another good option. Legumes, beans, another good choice. You do want some lean sources of protein as well, so something like salmon or eggs are another good choice for the day before. The day during, yes, exactly. That morning of, because the race, you know, starts early. I know you guys will be up there watching it on the sidelines. The day of, you definitely want to be focusing on a light breakfast. So something like whole grains, whole wheat bread, toast, bananas, low-fat yogurt, good options. A lot of people like the energy bars. Those are also a great option for maybe right before the race as well. But you don't want to get laden down with some heavy foods.
Yeah, and while you're running too, I mean, you don't necessarily want to stop at the water station, the first one. I mean, there are things you need to think about as you're actually running the race too. Very
important, yes. So when you're running, you know, sometimes we even recommend maybe even skipping the first couple water stations. They tend to get bottlenecked, and you kind of, once you get past that, you'll do well.
Okay, and now you've brought some friends with you.
Right? I have, because another thing that's very important is kind of stretching and also what we call dynamic warm-ups, so kind of warming up before the race and cooling down after the race. So Pete and Randy are here. And Pete's going to show us a little bit of some stretches that you can do before the race. So a couple ideas are just some walking lunges like he's doing right now. And then some walking knee grabs, which can also kind of help you kind of loosen up. The point is kind of dynamically stretch before the race. So not just static stretches, but dynamic.
And how do you go? Does this help you with avoiding injury too by doing this before?
Yes. There's some thought that actually if you overstretch, you actually may kind of weaken them. Yeah. So that's why the dynamic kind of warm-up is a good way to go.
And then it's important afterwards too?
Definitely important afterwards. Afterwards, you'll get a little tight. So Randy here is showing us some kind of, again, dynamic stretches, piriformis, getting your hamstrings loose. These kind of things are very important after the race. You want to kind of cool down and get those muscles loose again.
And then one thing that's really interesting, I thought, you're saying once you hit the finish line, don't just stop.
Don't just stop. Yeah, you got to keep moving. One of the biggest things we see is what's called a collapse, and they will actually faint and drop right afterwards. So you got to keep moving at the finish line. Don't get caught in that bottleneck.
That would move over to some grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case.
Softer landing.
Very good. Now, if you'd like a recap of the information that we've just covered, go to our website, abc7chicago.com. Just look for the link when you click on the See It on TV tab. Thank you for coming in, and good luck with the race. This is race marathon number 3 for them.
And we'll be right back.